Anne and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be creating more things in preparation for my baby shower. So I'm really excited because this video is going to be sponsored by Cricut. Once again, thank you so much Cricut for working with me. If you watched a previous video of mine, then you may have seen that I created these little DIY alphabet blocks for our centerpieces, and I managed to only make them for $5. Ryan and I actually hired an event planner to do the main bulk of the decorations for us, as far as the photo backdrop, the balloon garland, and the table settings, but I figured it wouldn't be right as a crafter and DIYer myself if I didn't put my own little touch on certain things and also cut a couple of costs. But for this video, we are going to focus on the little bits and pieces that I'm going to be needing for the baby shower games. So I've definitely been to my own fair share of baby showers in my family, but I went on over to Pinterest just to get more of a list of what we could do at our own baby shower. And Ryan and I discussed that we wanted to have some passive games in addition to like the really fun, very active and hilarious games that everybody's gonna kind of be involved in. These passive games are just gonna kind of be around like our dessert table, our gift table, the entrance, just so that they can do something to occupy themselves before we kind of get to the busier part of the baby shower. So the two passive games that we chose are How Big Is My Belly? So I have this pink ball of yarn that I honestly haven't used, and so I figured that would be perfect. People just gotta cut off a little piece of the yarn of how, I guess it wouldn't be very little because my belly is gonna be quite big at that time, but they're gonna just guesstimate how big they think my belly is, and the person that is closest wins a prize. I'm thinking Amazon gift cards, because who doesn't love Amazon gift cards? And the other game we're gonna do is the guess how many game. So that just means like fill a jar with a ton of little tiny objects. They have to guess how many is in the jar, and the person that is closest wins. While these passive games are gonna kind of be sitting around throughout the entire duration of the baby shower, I definitely wanted to start out with one of those icebreaker games. So this is gonna be one of those games that everyone can be involved in. I'm just gonna basically give them 5 to 10 minutes to write down as many baby products as they can, and the winner, again, gets a prize. I feel like that game is gonna just kind of get people going, get their mind racing, and just kind of get ready for the more fun games. For our other games, I'm thinking that we're gonna do that like baby bottle chugging game. I'm assuming that Ryan and some of his guy friends, we're gonna just have them compete against each other and see who can drink from the baby bottle the quickest. We're gonna put some champagne in there, okay? So of course it's adult friendly. I just picked up some of these baby bottles from the Dollar Tree, and yeah, gonna fill those up with champagne and see how they do. I don't know what the technical name for this game is, but basically we're gonna choose a number of contestants to put a balloon in their tummy, and you have to drop like a penny in a jar. It's kind of trying to simulate, you know, when pregnant women have to pee a lot. I'm definitely in that stage of my pregnancy where I have to pee all the time, and it's just kind of a struggle with a bump in the way, but also like having to squat, especially if you're in public places. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I never try to use those little like paper things to go on the toilet because I'm just not gonna touch it. I've always just squatted over the toilet. So it's definitely harder as I get heavier to try and aim and make sure I'm right over the toilet. But I think it's just gonna be really funny to play that game, especially if it's guys. It tends to be more fun with guys, but I think we'll do a mix of girls and boys doing that, or maybe even a relay, I thought. So I thought it was funny. I went to the Dollar Tree and they had like these little smiley face balloons, so of course we're gonna blow those up. I gotta get some jars and pennies and stuff for them to, you know, do their business. I also want them to play the poopy diaper game, so of course we're gonna have like a number of different diapers, melt some different types of chocolates in there, and the first person to guess all of the different chocolates that are in the diapers wins. So I think that's always been very funny because obviously it doesn't look the most pleasant, but since everyone knows it's chocolate, it's kind of just funny to see like people even trying to eat it. Mainly, I think that people are gonna smell it. With it being something edible, I may put like the chocolate on some wax paper and then on a diaper so that none of those fibers are mixing with the chocolate, you know what I mean? I have a feeling that we might need to do a few more games, but as far as this video goes, I'm gonna show you all the different things that I created to accompany each and every one of those games. So if you're interested to see what I came up with, then just keep on watching. If you managed to make it through all of my babbling, then shout out to you. I just wanted to make sure that I kind of showed you guys some of my thoughts before we got into the actual crafting part. So I'm really excited to be using this Smart Paper sticker cardstock. I just find this product to be really convenient because I do a lot of paper crafts as it is, whether it's scrapbooking or if you follow me on Instagram, then you would know that I tend to decorate these grad cap toppers that people wear for their graduations. But for this first project, I'm actually going to be using it for these chalkboard signs that I've had saved up ever since I created the decorations for my open house when I graduated college. I got them at Michael's for literally like $2-3, and so I figured it would just be great signage for those passive games that I mentioned before, the Guess How Many game, as well as the How Big Is My Belly game. So I found a really cute cursive font. I thought it would be cute to put a little square around it, just kind of like an added border element. And of course, I'm creating a similar design for the How Big Is My Belly game. So the next step is to obviously throw them into the Cricut design space. The chalkboard that I'm working with is 4 inches wide, so I'm going to make sure that the designs are a little bit smaller than that. Make them the same size and place them next to each other so that they are ready to be cut. So what's so cool about the Cricut Smart Materials is you can actually use it without a mat. And that just relieves me of a lot of stress as far as taking the material off of the mat and stuff. A lot of times you can curl your material. I know that there are hacks where you actually have to pull your mat away from the material rather than vice versa so that it stays flat, but this just makes it that much easier. So of course you have to put how big your material size is, and since I have the Cricut Explore 3, I don't have that dial anymore. It actually asks me to set my base material in the Cricut design space. So once I chose the cardstock, then I was ready to go. Now beforehand, if we were using my Cricut Explore Air 2, then I would have suggested that you try and do something else in relation to your project while your material is cutting. But now that I have the Cricut Explore 3, it literally cuts 2 times faster. So I couldn't even pull all of those items out. My material was literally done cutting in like a blink of an eye. So once that was done, I pulled out my paper cutter, trimmed it down to where the design was so I can use the excess for later projects. And then you can move on to taking out all of the negative space from your design. So this is my favorite Cricut tool by far. It's the weeding tool. It's one of the tools that I pretty much use every time that I use my Cricut. It's just really convenient because the tip of it is very small. You can work in those small spaces and just pull away at the material you don't need. I do have to say that with my experience in using this Smart Paper sticker cardstock, that I would suggest that you work slower and just take your time, because since this material is thicker than your typical vinyl that you might use with your Cricut, it definitely is a little bit more fragile, and you definitely don't want to rip away at the design that you already cut and have to waste more material and do it all over again. This step is definitely optional, but I did want to paint my chalkboards white, so of course I used some painter's tape as well as an X-Acto knife to cover off that little chalkboard section in the middle. Our color scheme is white with touches of gold, silver, and pink. So you can paint it however you'd like, have fun with it, and definitely do whatever fits your color scheme best, and put a generous coat of paint on there. Or not, you know, if you like that wood texture, then that's up to you. I still like it, but for the theme that we're going with, I just figured that it would be best to again cover it. So once you're done painting, of course, let it dry for an hour or so, and then you can take your painter's tape off and proceed to putting your design. So since this is cardstock and it's paper, I would not suggest using your transfer tape because the cardstock is made in layers of paper. I'm gonna tell you because I made the mistake myself trying to use the transfer tape, and it just ended up taking off that entire first pink layer of cardstock, so I had to redo it, but we're just not gonna show you that little mess up and just take my word for what it is. So this makes it a little bit harder. You may just have to do it piece by piece, but it's also very forgiving. So if you happen to not place it exactly where you want, if you have the ability to just like carefully remove it, then you definitely can. I realized that you could have definitely used a vinyl with this project, but I thought that this just kind of gave it a nice 3D element to the chalkboard, and I just, at the end of the day, wanted to try out a new material that I hadn't used before. And once you have your design positioned and stuck down to the chalkboard, then you can go ahead and use your weeding tool. I used the small end to kind of just scrape away at any of the little white pieces that kind of ripped away whenever I was taking away the material from the design. Since it is paper, this is kind of bound to happen, but of course it was only in a couple of areas. But I'm really happy with how these signs turned out. I just thought that they were really cute and dainty. So once that was finished, I found this jar. We actually had it in the middle of our counter space, but it was empty, so I figured why not use it. When I went to the Dollar Tree, I saw these plastic safety pins that I figured would be perfect as our little guess how many game object. So I filled it up as much as I could. I literally bought all the packs that they had and still didn't have enough. Thankfully, I went to another Dollar Tree and found even bigger paper clips, so that definitely took up some more space, but I'm probably gonna have to go even one more time to see if they have any more. If not, then I saw that they have some on Amazon, but that's where we're at right now. I also went to Party City and found these huge baby bottles, which conveniently has like a little slot in there. So I think people use it to like put money, but we're also going to use it for the little slips where people put their guesses. So I designed this quickly on my computer and just cut them down for them to be ready to use. And this isn't necessarily part of the games, but since I had that extra bottle that I bought from Party City and also a little bit of leftover shimmer vinyl, I cut out Diaper Fund, and I thought that would be really fun to include and just to, you know, get a chance to play around with my Cricut a little bit more. I'm cutting it in half because I actually want the words to be on 2 different lines, and I discovered that when purchasing this shimmer vinyl that they actually have some strong grip transfer tape, which is definitely helpful when you're using some of these specialty vinyls. Now, since this bottle was a little bit curved, I did have to take my time a little bit and make sure that all of the pieces adhered. By the time I got to the D, it kind of curved a little bit, but I just pressed down those ends, and then I added Fund. We all know that babies can run through diapers as if it's a marathon, so I thought that this was just really cute to maybe add on the gift table, but you could also even put Formula Fund. I thought that would be cute, especially since this is a milk bottle. And then lastly in this video, I just wanted to show you the final documents that I designed so that I could get them printed out for the other games. This is for the baby expert game where you write down as many baby products as you can. And I wanted to include this mainly because I made my own little emoji customized to us. So if you know Ryan, he actually has freckles. So I went ahead and added freckles to the emoji, and then it just kind of looked like a boy. So I wanted to add the little bow and some eyelashes just so it could look a little girlier, you know, because the selections of the baby emoji are quite limited. And then for the second document, I thought it would be funny to title the poopy diaper game as Ain't That Some Shh with the poop emoji. So us grown folk, we all know what that is supposed to mean, but it's still somewhat censored. And I don't know, I just thought it was very punny. I couldn't help myself, you know, but I got those documents printed at my local FedEx, and that's how they turned out. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video. I just can't wait to show you how our baby shower turns out and all the decorations all put together. Again, I want to thank you Cricut so much for sponsoring this video and just making my life that much easier and that much craftier. If you guys liked what you saw, then please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below what you thought or any other crafts that you want to see me try. And if you haven't subscribed already, then hit that subscribe button down below because we want you here for a long time and not just a good time. Okay, honey, I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.